All right, guys. So in this video, I want to address one thing that a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people, they kind of uh, just subconsciously discard this. But I want you to know today, you probably heard this before, you probably haven't heard this before. But if someone says something, somebody gives you criticize towards you and it triggers you, right? They're probably telling the truth. Right? Because anything that triggers our emotions or trigger us to act a certain way, right? Anything that triggers you to react, they said the truth, right? And this goes towards everything in life. Insults, someone might insult you, and if it triggers you, right, they're probably telling the truth, right? And if you're offended by this video or anything that I say in this video, uh, you know, it's not to disrespect. I'm not saying this to disrespect you in any way, because some people are so sensitive that they watch a video and say, "Oh, so this guy is basically nah." Look, I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm just trying to get you to realize something from uh, a different lens, right? If you cannot take constructive criticism, then yeah, it's most likely the truth, and you should instead try to see how you can leverage that truth or that criticism that uh, somebody gave you and see how you can learn something from it and utilize that to improve your identity. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm going to break down this whole video in 5 steps, right? Or in 5 different explanation lines. The first thing I want to talk about is why does the truth feels like an attack? Why is it that when somebody walks up to you and mentions something like, "Hey, you suck at doing well," whatever it is, right? Let's just say, for example, somebody came up to you and said, uh, I'll use basketball as an example. You're at the court, you're playing basketball, and after the game is over, somebody walk up to you and say, "Hey, like your shot is horrible. You need to stop shooting like this. You keep shooting like this every time, and you're missing the majority of the time, bro. Like it keeps selling out the game." Right? They said something like that to you, you might react like, "Well, I shoot way better than you," right? Well, if you reacting to it, if it gets you, miss, you'll most likely suck, and you should most likely listen to what he's trying to tell you. The reason why most people don't do that and they instantly feel attacked towards someone's criticism is because they try to protect their ego, right? Their ego protects their comfort. They're trying to be comfortable, right? So they have ego. They feel like, hey, they try to pretty much blush off the truth with ego, right? Because they want to feel comfort in their current identity, in their current self, right? And the truth threatens that current identity that they're currently living in. So they're gonna use ego to pretty much say no to it, right? Or not listen. So one thing I've learned is, yeah, growth always hurts at first, but in the process of growth, once you start to see the return, it becomes fun. Now it's all about the process. Yes, I see that's working. Let's go. So that's the reason why truth first feels like an attack. Now, I want to also talk about a victim mentality and as well as a responsible person, right? A victim mentality versus responsibility. Now, someone who plays victim obviously blames things on others, right? Now, this has to do with obviously the truth. Someone might come up to you and say something like, "Oh, they might come up to you and say something about you that you should have fixed years ago, and you try to blame it on your parents, right? Or let's say somebody comes up and say something about, oh, like, let's say you're broke. Somebody came up to you and say, or your family member say, "Hey, look, like, why do you only have $500? You should have way more than that." Blame it on the economy, all right? Or even blaming it on timing. So blaming things that's blaming things, just the blaming mindset. Once you start pushing things towards other things, person, events, whatever, you are acting in a victim mindset instead of taking responsibility, right? So waiting for fairness, right? And also successful people, they adapt instead of complaining. Now, waiting for fairness is something that is done by people who are obviously in the mindset of a victim mentality. Why? Because they're waiting for things to align. They somehow believe that, oh, if uh, they somehow believe in luck. They believe in Santa Claus, I should say. All right. So instead of you waiting for things to be fair, the successful people, they adapt and not complain. Right? They you tell them, you give them constructive criticism. Say, oh, like it might not even be constructive, right? It might come off as rude, extremely rude. Yeah, it's cool, right? Like, all right, appreciate you saying that, but you don't have to you don't have to be rude about it. Accept the accountability that you suck at that specific area that they're telling you that you suck in life, because they're seeing your life from their lens. And if you hear that once, if it triggers you, means you've probably heard it multiple times in the past. And that's a sign that you need to fix that thing instead of being triggered by it. Accept it, take accountability for it, and work towards fixing that specific thing instead of complaining and pointing fingers, because you're now going to be operating from a victim mentality instead of being a responsible adult that takes risk, that hold themselves responsible for every event in their life. Now, comfort is the enemy. Comfort is the only reason why people tend to be triggered once they get constructive criticism, right? Now, you need to kill your comfort immediately as soon as you can, right? Kill the comfort as soon as you hear somebody say something. Like somebody came up to you and say something, the first thing you think, your ego is the first thing that causes you to react, right? So within that split second before you react, you need to really think, okay, how am I feeling about this statement? It kind of somehow, like, me explaining it in the video sounds easy, like something so easy to do, but you have to be in a certain level of maturity to be able to execute this properly, right? Because if somebody just says something right then and there, your brain has to be thinking extremely fast, like, wow, whoa, he just said that. Sometimes you can just even be silent in the conversation and let your brain process what you just heard. You probably been hearing it multiple times, and then okay, slow down your ego, right? Because your ego only comes up to make you comfortable and stay where you're currently at. So when you kill the comfort, the thought of once you lower your ego, your comfort doesn't really matter as much. All right, so you need to try your best to kill your comfort levels, so that your ego doesn't push you to react instead of taking accountability as a man, right, or as a woman, right? So it's important for you to try to kill your comfort as soon as possible, because your comfort is going to delay your discipline, and of course, your comfort is something that lies to you slowly, quietly. It slowly steals from you, right? Now, comfort is something that obviously everybody wants to be comfortable. The only comfort that you should want to have is the comfort of being with your loved ones. That's it. As a man. As a woman, on the other hand, I'm not going to really go too much into that. As a single woman, kill comfort until you get married to, not saying when you get married, you just leave everything and I have to worry about this, but there's certain degree comfort to a certain degree, and you get you're a lot more comfortable in a marriage as a woman versus a man, right? It could be both for those who want to do the 50-50 marriage stuff, but yeah, you want to kill comfort, or the idea of comfort in your head shouldn't be a thing. If someone comes to you and give you constructive criticism, first thing you should think is, okay, all right, have I ever heard this before? All right, who is this person to give me constructive criticism, right? Or give me or criticize towards whatever it is that I'm doing. And right, try to understand where they're coming from and lower your ego and see if you can learn something from them, right? And instead of being comfortable in the aspect of don't try to point fingers too, because when you're pointing fingers, now you're playing a victim instead of you're playing a victim, and it's whatever they said becomes true, right? If as soon as you hear someone criticize, right, instead of you being attacked, think if this person is true. If you believe this person is true, take accountability for it. Oh yeah, 100% you're right. Like, I really should not have only $500 right now. I appreciate you for saying that. Definitely something I need to work on. Instead of saying, oh yeah, it's because my car broke down. If not, I would have had more. You're putting yourself in that comfort zone of justifying. But if you accept it, now you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable position mentally, physically, to want to improve yourself and get yourself to where you want to be, right? Or where you prefer it to be, right? Now, you need to understand that no one is coming to rescue you. That's why you cannot be blaming people. You cannot be pointing fingers, right? You can't be saying, oh, I'm in this position because of this X, Y, and Z, right? There's no perfect moment to actually achieve. There's no perfect moment for you to achieve what you want to achieve in life in the aspect of constructive criticism, right? If you hear something that definitely is correct, accept it. But like, yeah, you're absolutely correct, man. If someone came to you in the basketball court, you were playing wrong, blah, yeah, man, yeah, you were 100% right, bro. I definitely need to work on it, and like understand that nobody's gonna come work on that shot for you. You're the one that's gonna work on it properly, and guess what? Immediately start working on it in a way that you know that you should be. If they're giving you genuine advice, yeah, like take the ball and start shooting it properly and start learning, right? Because there's no magical breakthrough that's just gonna happen out of nowhere. You are gonna have to give it reps over time and become better, right? Don't be like, oh yeah, don't try to say, oh, I had got a surgery on my left hand, and that's why I shoot like that. That's like, okay, you don't want to better yourself, right? But learning how to not be triggered by truths that you hear and actually understand the perspective that they're coming from and understand or try to see if there's some truth in what they're saying. Take accountability and immediately get to fixing it, right? So with that being said, I don't want to make this video too long, but I want you guys to know that everything in your life is your responsibility. Even the things that are not your fault. You get in a car accident, it's not your fault. You're responsible for it still. Well, now we have insurance, but like, you don't have insurance, you're responsible for it as well, right? Whatever it is, good or bad, that happens, you're responsible with it as well, right? And that's just how life is. But not taking accountability when your action or inaction causes a certain result or a certain thing to happen is what you need to learn not to do, right? You need to always take accountability. Now, the moment you stop defending your weakness, it's the moment that you start becoming dangerous, right? The moment you stop defending all your weaknesses and start accepting criticism from others, you become very dangerous, right? Because there's nothing that can honestly stop you. You listen, you get feedback, and work on it. But yeah, this video was one of those videos where I was really doing a lot of thinking to put pieces together to get my message across. I hope you guys understood the message of this video. I hope it made sense. And if you learned anything watching this video all the way to the end, just like, comment something, fire emoji in the comment section or whatever you want to comment. Send this video to a friend or two, and subscribe to the channel to help the algorithm. That being said, see you guys on the next one. Remember, see you guys at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. Peace.